Welcome back to Stereopedia, your sound companion through time and culture. Today, we take a reflective journey through the most iconic albums of the past decade, from 2015 to 2025. These aren't just records, they're cultural milestones that shaped our emotions, identities, and the very way we listen to music. Let's dive in.
The best albums of the last decade, a cultural and musical retrospective, 2015 to 2025. The decade between 2015 and 2025 marked a transformative period in the music industry, defined by genre-blending experimentation, technological evolution, and socio-political engagement. This article explores the most critically acclaimed and culturally impactful albums of the last 10 years, highlighting their contributions to music, identity, and the global conversation. Through a multidisciplinary lens that incorporates musicology, cultural studies, and critical theory, this retrospective identifies key albums that shaped the sonic and social landscape of the era. The 2015 to 2025 decade was shaped by digital democratization, social media amplification, and an increasingly globalized musical dialogue. Albums were no longer just collections of songs, they became cultural texts, movements, and at times revolutions. This article selects 10 of the most significant albums from this era, evaluating them based on artistic innovation, critical reception, and cultural impact. Methodology. The albums were selected using a combination of metrics. Aggregated critical reviews, e.g., Metacritic, Pitchfork, Rolling Stone. Cultural resonance, e.g., viral moments, protest soundtracks, fan movements. A longevity and influence on subsequent artists and genres. The analysis prioritizes diversity across genres, regions, and identities. The top albums of 2015 to 2025. 1. Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly, 2015. Widely regarded as one of the most ambitious and impactful hip-hop albums of all time, To Pimp a Butterfly is a sprawling, genre-defying work that blends jazz, funk, soul, spoken word, and traditional hip-hop. Produced by a team including Flying Lotus, Thundercat, and Terrace Martin, the album's soundscape is rich, experimental, and rooted in Black musical traditions. Lyrically, Lamar confronts systemic racism, Black identity, survivor's guilt, self-worth, and cultural commodification with poetic dexterity and emotional intensity. Tracks like Alright became unofficial protest anthems during the Black Lives Matter movement, while songs such as You and The Blacker the Berry reveal personal vulnerability and political rage in equal measure. Framed as a narrative of inner conflict and societal critique, the album ends with a fictional interview between Lamar and Tupac Shakur, symbolizing the generational continuity of Black struggle and resistance. To Pimp a Butterfly is more than an album. It's a socio-political statement, a sonic experiment, and a cultural landmark that redefined the possibilities of hip-hop as an art form. 2. Beyoncé, Lemonade, 2016. Lemonade is a multimedia masterpiece that redefined the concept of a pop album in the streaming era. Released as a visual album accompanied by a 65-minute film, it blends music, poetry, and cinema to tell a deeply personal and politically resonant story. Musically, Beyoncé traverses a wide range of genres: R&B, rock, country, gospel, and trap, demonstrating her versatility and artistic fearlessness. Thematically, Lemonade is both an intimate account of marital betrayal and reconciliation, and a broader reflection on the resilience of Black women. Drawing from the poetry of Warsan Shire, the album explores grief, anger, empowerment, heritage, and healing. Songs like Hold Up and Don't Hurt Yourself confront infidelity with fury and confidence, while Freedom, featuring Kendrick Lamar, and Formation celebrate Black identity and resistance in the face of systemic oppression. Visually, the project incorporates African-American Southern Gothic imagery, Yoruba spirituality, and the iconography of Black liberation movements. It stands as a landmark in the convergence of music, narrative, and activism, redefining Beyoncé not just as an entertainer, but as a cultural force and visionary artist. Lemonade is a testament to the power of storytelling, and it continues to inspire conversations about race, gender, and artistic agency. 3. Frank Ocean, Blonde, 2016. Frank Ocean's Blonde is a genre-defying and emotionally intricate album that challenged conventional structures of popular music. Released independently after years of anticipation, Blonde signaled a bold creative leap from his earlier work, embracing minimalism, abstraction, and vulnerability with remarkable intimacy. Musically, the album strips back traditional R&B and pop instrumentation in favor of ambient textures, fragmented song structures, and sparse arrangements. Ocean experiments with pitch manipulation, irregular pacing, and unconventional production choices, often leaving space for silence and reflection. Songs like Nikes, Ivy, and Self-Control drift between memory and imagination, anchored by Ocean's fragile vocals and impressionistic lyrics. Lyrically, Blonde explores themes of queerness, identity, youth, longing, and disillusionment. Ocean's writing is both confessional and cryptic, capturing fleeting emotional states and complex relationships with poetic nuance. His open reflections on love and sexuality, especially within the context of a still heteronormative hip-hop and R&B landscape, marked a pivotal cultural moment for LGBTQ+ representation in music. Critics and fans alike praised the album for its innovation and emotional honesty. Without a traditional rollout or radio-friendly singles, Blonde defied commercial expectations and became a blueprint for the power of artistic autonomy in the streaming era. It continues to influence a new wave of genre-blurring artists and stands as a deeply personal, almost sacred, listening experience. 4. Taylor Swift Folklore, 2020. Folklore marked a striking reinvention in Taylor Swift's career, representing a shift from polished pop anthems to introspective indie folk. Written and recorded during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, the album was a surprise release that showcased Swift's storytelling abilities in a more subdued and literary form. Collaborating primarily with Aaron Dessner of The National and longtime partner Jack Antonoff, Swift crafted a work that emphasized mood, atmosphere, and lyrical depth over chart-oriented hooks. Musically, Folklore embraces stripped-down acoustic textures, piano-led melodies, and atmospheric production, drawing from indie rock, chamber pop, and Americana traditions. The album creates a sense of quiet intimacy, reflecting the isolation and introspection of its time. Tracks like Cardigan, Exile, featuring Bon Iver, and The One highlight themes of nostalgia, heartbreak, and parallel lives. Lyrically, Swift departs from her typical autobiographical songwriting to explore fictional characters and alternate perspectives, weaving a subtle narrative across several tracks, notably Betty, Auguste, and Cardigan, that form a teenage love triangle told from multiple viewpoints. This narrative experimentation was praised as a mature evolution of her craft, positioning Swift not just as a pop star but as a sophisticated songwriter and narrator. Folklore received universal acclaim, winning Album of the Year at the 2021 Grammy Awards and resonating with listeners seeking solace and emotional depth during an uncertain global moment. It also broadened her audience, earning newfound respect in indie and alternative music circles. The album solidified Taylor Swift's reputation as one of the most adaptive and enduring artists of her generation. 5. Bad Bunny, YHLQMDLG, 2020. With YHLQMDLG, an acronym for Yo Hago Lo Que Me Da La Gana, I Do Whatever I Want, Bad Bunny delivered a landmark album that redefined the global potential of Latin music. Released in early 2020, the album arrived as the Puerto Rican artist was already reshaping reggaeton and Latin trap, pushing the genres beyond their commercial formulas and into a space of bold experimentation and cultural pride. Musically, YHLQMDLG honors the roots of classic reggaeton with nods to pioneers like Daddy Yankee and Tego Calderon while blending modern production, futuristic beats, and stylistic detours. Songs like Safera, a multi-part, high-energy homage to reggaeton's mixtape era, showcase Bad Bunny's ability to embrace nostalgia while pushing boundaries. Other tracks like La Difficile, Vite, and By Kyle navigate themes of heartbreak, independence, and gender dynamics through accessible yet innovative sonic palettes. Lyrically, Bad Bunny balances bravado with vulnerability, challenging the traditionally hyper-masculine tone of Latin and urban music. His willingness to defy genre norms and gender expectations, both in music and public image, made YHLQMDLG a cultural flashpoint. He raps and sings unapologetically in Spanish, asserting that Latin music need not conform to English language standards to achieve global success. Critically acclaimed and commercially dominant, YHLQMDLG debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, the highest charting all-Spanish language album in history at the time. More than a collection of hits, it symbolized a new era for Latinx artists commanding international attention on their own terms. Bad Bunny's independent spirit and cultural authenticity cemented YHLQMDLG as a generational milestone and a turning point in global pop culture. 6. Billie Eilish, When We All Fall Asleep. Where Do We Go? 2019. Billie Eilish's debut studio album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?, marked a seismic shift in mainstream pop music. Released when she was just 17 years old, the album defied industry norms with its eerie aesthetics, genre-fluid production, and introspective lyricism. Created almost entirely in a bedroom studio by Eilish and her brother/producer Phineas, the album's DIY origins added to its mystique and authenticity. Musically, the album fuses elements of pop, electronic, trap, and industrial sounds, characterized by whispered vocals, minimalist beats, and unconventional arrangements. Tracks like Bad Guy flip the script on traditional pop structure with its playful, bass-heavy groove, while Bury a Friend and You Should See Me in a Crown incorporated horror-inspired soundscapes and distorted vocals that pushed sonic boundaries. Lyrically, Eilish tapped into themes of depression, self-doubt, sleep paralysis, fame, and existential dread, topics rarely explored with such honesty in teen pop. Her delivery ranges from sarcastic to sorrowful, often blurring the line between fantasy and reality. This emotional complexity resonated deeply with Gen Z listeners, who saw in Eilish a reflection of their own anxieties and introspection. Visually and stylistically, Eilish rejected the hyper-glamorous image of traditional pop stars, favoring oversized clothing, surreal imagery, and dark, cinematic music videos. This deliberate subversion of gender norms and celebrity expectations helped redefine what authenticity and individuality could look like in pop culture. When We All Fall Asleep received widespread acclaim, winning Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist at the 2020 Grammy Awards. It established Billie Eilish as a voice of a new generation, one that values emotional truth, creative freedom, and genre disruption over traditional stardom. 7. SZA, Control, 2017. SZA's debut studio album Control emerged as a defining voice in modern R&B and a generational manifesto of emotional honesty, uncertainty, and self-discovery. Released in 2017 under Top Dog Entertainment, the album introduced a raw and refreshingly candid approach to themes often sanitized in mainstream music: love, insecurity, self-worth, sexual agency, and the complexities of modern relationships. Musically, Control blends elements of alternative R&B, neo-soul, hip-hop, and indie, creating a soundscape that feels organic and intimate. The production, handled by artists like Dave Free, Carter Lang, and Steve Lacy, leans into lo-fi textures, spacious beats, and minimalist instrumentation, allowing SZA's distinct, conversational vocal style to take center stage. Lyrically, the album reads like a personal diary, filled with vulnerable admissions, fragmented thoughts, and unfiltered reflections. Tracks like Drew Barrymore and Supermodel explore feelings of inadequacy and the desire for validation, while Love Galore and The Weeknd subvert traditional ideas of romantic exclusivity and female desire. Her lyrics often resist tidy conclusions, instead embracing the messiness of emotion and identity in the digital age. Control also challenges the stereotypical portrayals of Black women in popular music by centering emotional complexity, soft power, and introspective chaos. SZA's openness about anxiety, jealousy, and self-sabotage offered a voice to many young listeners, particularly women, navigating similar internal struggles in an era of curated perfection on social media. Critically acclaimed and widely influential, Control received multiple Grammy nominations and became a touchstone for a new era of R&B, one that prizes storytelling, authenticity, and emotional range over vocal bravado alone. It cemented SCA's status as a singular voice in contemporary music and opened the door for more artists to be unapologetically human in their work. 8. Rosalia, El Mal Khair, 2018. El Mal Khair is a groundbreaking album that reimagined flamenco for the 21st century, catapulting Rosalia from a niche artist into an international innovator. Released in 2018, the album is both a daring conceptual work and a sonic revolution, blending traditional Andalusian flamenco with contemporary genres like R&B, trap, reggaeton, and electronic music. It served as a bold statement of cultural hybridity and artistic ambition. Conceptually, El Mal Khair is structured as a modern retelling of the 13th century Spanish novel romance of flamenco, which follows a woman trapped in a jealous, controlling relationship. Each track represents a chapter in the story, progressing through themes of love, power, submission, rebellion, and emancipation. Through this narrative, Rosalia explores gender roles, autonomy, and emotional liberation, offering a feminist reading of a traditionally patriarchal tale. Musically, the album is a stunning collage of handclaps, palmas, classical flamenco guitar, layered vocal harmonies, and cutting-edge production. With the help of producer El Guincho, Rosalia infuses her classical flamenco training with bold electronic experimentation. Tracks like Malamendi and Pienso and Tu Mira are simultaneously rooted in Spanish tradition and radiantly modern, while Baghdad reimagines Justin Timberlake's Cry Me a River within a flamenco framework. Rosalia's distinctive vocal delivery, which incorporates melismatic phrasing and emotive flamenco flourishes, adds intensity and authenticity to the album's dramatic arc. Her ability to synthesize cultural heritage with genre innovation helps spark global conversations about the boundaries of cultural appropriation, reinvention, and preservation in pop music. Critically acclaimed, El Mal Khair won a Latin Grammy for Album of the Year and played a key role in pushing Spanish-language music to broader global audiences without compromising its artistic roots. It positioned Rosalia not only as a pop phenomenon, but as a genre-blurring visionary who redefined what global pop could sound like. 9. Tyler, the Creator, Igor, 2019. Igor represents a bold artistic evolution for Tyler, the Creator, marking his departure from abrasive rap toward a lush, genre-bending blend of neo-soul, funk, and experimental hip-hop. Released in 2019, the album is a cohesive, narrative-driven work that explores themes of love, heartbreak, and self-identity through the perspective of a conflicted protagonist named Igor. Musically, Igor features dense, layered production characterized by distorted synths, soulful melodies, and complex arrangements. Tyler, who produced and engineered the album himself, uses pitch-shifted vocals, unconventional song structures, and seamless transitions to craft a cinematic listening experience. The album defies typical rap conventions, embracing vulnerability and emotional complexity rarely expressed so openly in hip-hop. Lyrically, Igor chronicles a tumultuous romantic relationship filled with desire, jealousy, confusion, and ultimately heartbreak. Songs like Earthquake, I Think, and Running Out of Time convey raw emotional intensity, juxtaposing Tyler's gritty past persona with a newfound sensitivity and introspection. The character Igor embodies the duality of Tyler's artistic self, both bold and fragile, aggressive and tender. Critically acclaimed for its innovation and emotional depth, Igor won the Grammy Award for Best Rap Album in 2020, further solidifying Tyler's status as one of the most inventive artists of his generation. The album's blend of eclectic sounds and personal storytelling influenced a wave of genre-fluid artists and expanded the boundaries of what hip-hop could encompass. Igor is not just an album but a conceptual journey, one that challenges the listener to reconsider notions of masculinity, creativity, and emotional expression in contemporary music. 10. FK Twigs, Magdalene, 2019. Magdalene is a haunting, visionary album that cements Twigs as one of the most innovative and boundary-pushing artists of her generation. Released in 2019, the album blends avant-garde electronic music, R&B, and art pop with deeply personal and mythologically charged themes, creating an immersive sonic and emotional experience. Musically, Magdalene is characterized by its intricate production, textured soundscapes, and dynamic shifts, ranging from ethereal ballads to intense, industrial-inspired beats. Twigs's voice is used as both an instrument and a narrative device, often layered with effects that highlight vulnerability and power simultaneously. Collaborators including Arca and Nicholas Jar help sculpt the album's experimental yet accessible sound. Thematically, the album is an exploration of pain, trauma, healing, and feminine strength. Drawing inspiration from the biblical figure Mary Magdalene, Magdalene delves into the complexities of womanhood, sexuality, spirituality, and emotional resilience. Songs like Cellophane and Home With You expose intimate struggles with heartbreak and self-worth, while tracks like Mary Magdalene confront themes of societal judgment and the reclaiming of identity. Magdalene is not just a collection of songs, but a cohesive narrative journey that challenges traditional pop frameworks. It weaves personal vulnerability with a broader cultural discourse on gender, empowerment, and artistic freedom. The album's visual aesthetics, refined, symbolic, and often unsettling, complement its sonic boldness and thematic depth. Critics lauded Magdalene for its originality, emotional honesty, and sonic innovation. Though not a mainstream commercial blockbuster, the album has had a lasting impact on alternative music and inspired countless artists to embrace experimentalism and personal storytelling. It solidified Twigs's reputation as a daring and influential visionary in contemporary music. These albums collectively reflect the pluralism of modern music. Genre boundaries collapsed, and hybrid sounds emerged as artists reimagined their roots through a globalized lens. Moreover, many of these works served as vehicles for protest, introspection, and social commentary, proving that popular music remains a potent site of resistance and identity formation. The prominence of non-English language albums, e.g., YHLQMDLG, Al Mal Care, reflects a shift in the cultural axis of the music industry. Likewise, the visual and digital presentation of albums, through surprise drops, narrative videos, and online fandoms, has revolutionized the album as an art form. The best albums of the last decade did more than entertain. They provoked thought, built communities, and redefined what music can be. As we enter a new era of AI-assisted creativity and post-pandemic reconstruction, these albums stand as enduring monuments to human expression, resilience, and innovation.